In 1967, Roland Barthes wrote La mort de l'auteur, the death of the author, an essay proclaiming that the opinions of an author on what his text may mean are irrelevant to the interpretation of said text. In 2020, Julian and Magnus decided that the author's abilities are just as irrelevant. This is Kill the Author. Welcome to Kill the Author. We're at episode 15 of our podcast.
It's 8 and 15.
In the show, we're at episode 8, second half of episode 8 now. And if everything goes well, you hear this actually 2 weeks after the last episode.
Yes.
So we're making it work. We're taking action.
Making it happen.
And at the end of this episode, we'll be 2/3 of the way through the show.
Nice.
Yeah. And also, this is going to be slightly shocking information that I'm going to have to give to you now. But this is the important episode. The 15th episode. This is the one where we're going to drop all the tea. All the tea is going to be spilled in this episode.
Careful not to get burned.
Yeah, don't get burned. It's going to be like zombie-infested maid cafe with how much tea is going to be spilled in this one.
Not that in particular.
No, not that in particular. It's just a metaphor that just I crafted in my head right now.
A metaphor that people use generally.
Yeah, that's often used by people. And school days has not destroyed my mind and ability to come up with clever phrases.
So, it's time for the Academy Fair. Yay!
Oh yeah, we're at the school festival.
Yeah. On the very first shot, it says, like in subtitles, Sakakino Academy Fair. And Sakakino is the name of the fictional city where this takes place. I just want to have that mentioned.
I forgot.
Yeah. The Sakakino Academy, or just Sakakino High, is the school. That's
Fantasy Tokyo.
Fantasy Tokyo. So the next shot, right after this, shows Hikari and Nanami. Mm-hmm. That's Banks and Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in a Dutch angle. We mentioned those before.
Yeah. I noticed this.
Yes, saying, "Welcome back, Master. I have questions."
I also have questions, and as a result of these questions, I immediately answered them.
Okay.
Because I was watching that clip and thought, that's fucking wild, right? Like, I've seen maid cafes before. I've seen maid cafes at, like, anime conventions and, like, anime meetups. I've been at, like, 1 or 2 of those. But, like, you know, there's a lot of, like, these kind of sort of trends that start in Japan and then sort of move over here. Like, cat cafes are another good example. That's something that had its origin in East Asia, too, but became so popular that it transferred here. And I was wondering, what's with maid cafes? Because I keep seeing those in anime and anime-adjacent stuff. So I decided to kind of look into it. The thing especially that I wanted to look into is like, okay, where do these come from? That's fucking wild. What's the idea there?
Okay.
So essentially, like, maid cafes have their origin in Akihabara, I think is the name. Akihabara, I think. It's a part of Tokyo. It's basically this district that has a lot of video stores and a lot of like bookstores that sell manga, and it's sort of where otaku culture had its origin. It's sort of like a very important place to otaku culture. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of themed restaurants there. Maid cafes are one of these themes, based on like French maid costumes in anime. So actually, like, that thing with maids in anime, it was there first, and maid cafes sort of copied it from them.
Okay.
And maid cafes, like, I think, I don't know if that's a general thing, but I sort of had the assumption that, like, that's one of the weird Japan things, right? Like, maid cafes are something that's just really prevalent over there. It's not. It's something specifically in otaku culture. It's something specifically for weebs. And having a maid cafe at a school, like, from what I gathered, would be fucking weird. It would be really wild. So, all of this to come roll back to the fact that maid cafes are here is just more fan service. There is no basis in culture or anything that would justify this unless, like, this school was overrun with otakus and they really wanted to sell themselves to them.
Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah.
The questions that I rather had were, first of all, master seems a little weird.
Yeah.
They said sama in Japanese.
It comes from master though, because like
Yeah.
the maid costumes are based on like French maid outfits, and like, you know, the people treat you like you're someone really, really important.
Okay. Welcome back confused me. Because, like, who are they talking to exactly? Who's coming back?
All right.
Okay, the next shot immediately shows them just standing in this hallway with no one even remotely in front of them. And I checked, it's the same background. They were just talking to no one. They were just saying, welcome back, master, into the empty room.
Unless we had a time skip, maybe. I don't know.
They were just standing there. And Nanami, one of the girls, the one we always call boy. I looked up some stuff because I wasn't sure if she was actually from the same class or if there's something weird had happened. She is from the same class. But every time I go to the school days wiki, I see something that I cannot believe I just saw with my eyes, and I have to write it down. One of the first things it said in her description, and as I quote, Nanami is the tallest character and boasts the third largest bust in the series. Okay, guess who the character with the largest bust is.
Kotonoha.
No.
No.
She's number 2.
Okay. Jesus, I have no idea.
You can't.
I can't. It's not in the show?
No.
Oh!
No, it's specifically the largest bust in the series, just after Kotonoha and her mother Minami.
Oh no! So that's why they never show her to us. They just couldn't put that on screen. It was too powerful.
I saw an image.
Okay.
She's more relevant in other stuff. I think she's like an important character in Summer Days and Shiny Days.
Yeah, that might be. The other games in the series.
Yeah, it's about what you expect.
Big.
Bazonkers.
Bazonkas. A huge pack of badonkas.
Yes.
Just while we're still on this scene, I just also want to show you something. When I looked through like the history of maid cafes, I came across an amazing sentence on Wikipedia. I screenshotted it here. For example, visiting maid cafes often is not seen as anything shameful. Citation needed. Someone went out of their way to put that citation needed there. Honestly, like, iconic.
Legendary moments.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
So the next scene is in the actual cafe, the maid cafe that they have, where someone orders banana cake. And I went back to my notes 2 episodes ago, where they exactly wrote down everything that they have in the cafe, and it specifically says tea, coffee, cola, orange juice, apple pie, cream puffs, blueberry pie, Kuroda sans pie, various combos other. It doesn't explicitly say banana cake in
I mean,
there.
that explains
Guys.
why they have to scramble for materials.
Exactly.
Someone ordered banana cake and they don't have it. And also, someone later stumbles on a banana peel, so it's probably from that banana that they had to get so quickly.
Yeah. Yes, of course. It does say other though, so I guess
It might be other stuff. Okay, all right.
I was kind of shocked to see Makoto in the kitchen working there, because he kind of seems like the ultimate symbol of toxic masculinity.
I kind of feel like this episode, like especially the second half of this episode, really tries to make Makoto sympathetic.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this, like a lot of cartoonishly over the top trying to make this character sympathetic in this half of the episode. So maybe it's going in that direction.
Anyway, Makoto's in the kitchen, and that was just kind of a strange side to me. It's not something I expected to see.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So the next scene is at the haunted house, which is the thing that whichever one is doing. Class 4. That's the one that Kotono has in. That's class 4.
Yes.
Class
I have notes
3,
about that.
Class 3 is Makoto's class 4 is hers.
All right.
And Kotonoha is on the reception, looking sad.
And she wants to take a break, I think.
Yeah, very, very clearly. Because then Kato...
The mean girls show up.
Kato and 2 of the squad show up.
Yeah.
And she asks where the 3rd of the squad is. I had to look that up.
Ah, okay.
This is who she's asking for.
Okay.
She's asking for Mori-san, who's one of the trio.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
I didn't even write that down.
Whatever, she didn't show up, even though she was supposed to take her shift. Whatever, she ditched her. The girls are bullying her.
They're shitty to her
Yeah.
again.
Just a reminder that they're bullying Kotonoha.
But we do have a little bit of setup in this scene. A little
Yeah,
bit.
the fuck room.
Yeah.
Remember the fuck room?
A couple shows up and they ask to go to the break room. And they don't ask Kotonoha, implying that Kotonoha maybe doesn't know about the break room. But the mean girls tell him, you can go to the, to the break room.
First Kotonoha asks them, like, if they want tickets for the haunted house. And then the couple, they are there. They're saying, no, well, actually. And then the girls, oh, you want in the fuck room?
Yeah.
Of course.
The break room.
The break room.
Here I wrote down break room.
Break room.
In a lot of
That's
apostrophes.
That's a lot of apostrophes.
Quotation mark. Break
Citation
room.
needed.
And, okay, then we have a really fucking funny shot. So we see the couple going into the break room, and then we just see Kotonoha sitting on her spot, on her bench, just like looking miserable ahead. And it's like, are they fucking right behind her? Is it a while Dobby was listening situation?
We do also see inside the break room for just a moment.
Tissues.
Yeah, there's a bed in there.
Tissue box.
A tissue box, a water bottle, and something else that I will not speculate on.
Okay.
I don't know what. It might have been like lube.
I mean, a water bottle and tissues are like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, stay hydrated and also like clean up afterwards.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's perfect.
For a fuck room, this is pretty good.
But also we're at a school. And
I recall.
And remember, it was mentioned like, what is it, 1 or 2 episodes ago? There's cameras in there. They put cameras in there.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
don't
they did
forget
put
about
cameras
that.
in there.
Do
That's
not
gonna
forget
be
about
relevant. So many crimes. That is all I wrote down about that scene. My next note starts somewhere in the next one, I think.
Yeah, so the next scene we see Sekai with some other people from her class. I forgot who exactly it was. And she's complaining that they don't have enough customers there. And then I just wrote, fuck this, and skipped the entire, next 3 minutes.
Okay, interesting. That's where I have most of my notes, in the next 3 minutes.
I know what happens in there, but I just cared so little.
No, okay, the one thing that's still relevant here is they talk about how they are not getting a lot of customers. And then we see where the customers are going, which is the 2 other, special things that have been set up, which is this haunted house and a little sister cafe.
That's what Class 1 is doing.
Yeah, and that made me think, okay, I've seen maid cafes at anime conventions. I have not seen little sister cafes.
No. Oh, no.
What the fuck is a little sister cafe?
I didn't want to know.
You will.
Okay.
Not, actually, because I couldn't find anything. I googled Little Sister Cafe. I found one in, New Zealand or, Australia or something like that, but it was just called Little Sister Cafe. Completely useless. Okay, then I was like, alright, maybe I need to search for the specific term for Little Sister that they're using. Alright, I was just listening to the audio, and I heard them say at the end, something you say... I thought I heard itadakimasu, and I was like, okay, that's not in the subtitles. They say something like... welcome brother or whatever. So I went into the other files that we have with the other subtitles where we have the alternative sub of this anime.
I forgot we had an alternative sub.
Yeah, and I looked at that and also I couldn't find anything useful there. I probably just misheard. But they say Oni-san, I think they say. We see in the regular sub that they say welcome brother and they use Oni-san. So they say big brother to be more specific. Okay, then it was okay, I can't find anything there. So I'm just gonna try Nechan. I'm just gonna try Nechan Cafe. I also found absolutely nothing on Nechan cafes. So, okay, at this point I was like, alright, I'm gonna look for alternative ways to write Little Sister in Japanese and throw them all into Google. I found 1 or 2 for each of them, which were called that. And also found maid cafes where in the description of one of the maids they use Nechan or something like that. So, as far as I can tell, that's not a thing. That's not even a thing in the otaku community. This seems to be something that, okay, from what I can gather, this seems to be something that this anime made up. A Little Sister Cafe.
Okay.
So, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Maid cafes are already kind of wild, right? They're already kind of weird and objectifying it, whatever the fuck. Little Sister Cafes?
What's the appeal?
like pedophilia and incest, I guess? Is that
one
all
wasn't
we're going
enough.
for? Is this what we're having here? Like, great stuff. Great stuff. Did they invent this for the anime? And also, like, where did they get all these little girls? Like, we see a ton of little girls that run this little sister cafe. Like, is that teenagers disguised as children? Because to me, that looks like actual children. Where did they get all of these little girls? And also, we see the zombie guys, like the zombie people from the haunted house.
Yeah.
Those are all adult bearded men. Where did they get all these bearded adult men to play the zombies?
I mean, the one class took all of their sisters, and the other class took all of their dads.
But like,
I think this is probably all the adults that exist in the School Days universe.
it's also like some of them are blonde or like have brown hair of these zombies. Like, where did they get these vaguely European bearded men? Are they like part of Setzna's family in France or whatever the fuck? Like, where did all these people come from?
I have absolutely no idea.
I also don't. Anyways, yeah. I was wondering about that. And then we see a very short little shot of Taisuke in a mascot suit. Just wanted to bring that up because, hey, what if he was the one with a cell phone theory with the mascot suit?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Doesn't matter. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that's...
We basically start like this battle scene. I don't know if you have anything written on that.
No.
Okay.
There's this dumb battle scene between
Yeah.
class 3 with their like maid people in whatever who they have. Everyone, their costumes are like battling.
Yeah.
Are like
And we see
putting
like
up
a military
stand.
drill.
Yeah,
or
military.
whatever.
There's a bunch of jokes about this where they're like standing up against class 1 and class 2.
Yeah, and
with their
Setsuna
things.
is like leading the charge. And we talked about this scene before. I don't know if we talked about it like explicitly on the podcast, but I feel this scene is extremely important because there has been a question that has been following this series that we've been doing from the start. And that's, how self-aware is this anime? How much does this anime know how dark it is? Because we talked about how in a lot of situations you can really make the case for it. You can really make the case for this is a dark story that's exploring dark themes. But scenes like this that are just anime comedy bullshit, like really fucking unfunny anime comedy bullshit, really make you question, like, what the fuck is the mood this anime is going for? What is it trying to achieve? And that question drove me into a rabbit hole.
Oh no.
And I did something that is kind of antithetical to what we do here, but I felt I needed to.
Wait, no.
I have a prop here. Can you describe to the audience what I'm doing?
You're unfolding a knife.
Yes, this is a knife.
Yes.
You know who that's for?
Oh no.
I'm gonna tell you who that's for.
Are you
I'm gonna
do
tell
it?
you. Have you ever heard of the name Mathos Numakichi?
No.
Then let me introduce you to the author.
Oh!
I did what I never wanted to do, but my
You consulted
curiosity.
the author.
I, as someone who has a comedic literary scientist degree up on their wall, I know that while Death of the Author is great and all, knowing what the author thinks might be important.
I think I know who you mean because you did just literally point on at your degree on the wall.
Yeah, my actual degree on the wall.
It's right there.
So I wanted to look at what the author says. And I had a few stops on that journey where I found interesting tidbits. When I looked through like, okay, who made all the episodes of the anime, I looked at the 2 OVAs. So there's 2 OVAs of the anime. And we haven't watched either of them yet.
Yeah.
And the first one, from what I can see, is like a Valentine's Day special episode, which is like alternative universe where all of them have like a big Valentine's Day date or whatever the fuck. The second one, though, the second one is called Magical Heart Kokoro.
I know that exists because it is on the Blu-ray. We just haven't seen it.
Oh wow! Okay, we have to, because okay, I'm gonna read you the first few lines of the plot summary. All right. On a train ride to school, Makoto watches a flying saucer get shot down at the presumed hands of a little girl in costume. The following afternoon, Kotonoha visits Radish, a restaurant where Kokoro is waitressing with Sekai, Hikari, and Nanami. The 4 of them receive an obscure phone call and excuse themselves into a secret underground facility where they are told that a mysterious gas is turning men into lecherous zombies. After transforming into the Radish Mobile Squad, a group reminiscent of Super Sentai, the girls confront Dr. S, a supervillain portrayed by Setsuna, and her assistant Tanaka, a schoolboy whose face is never seen.
I'm back. What did I miss? So I assume that the OVA... I think I did read this description at some point, because I think a shorter version of it is on the Blu-ray. And I just assumed it's this kind of, like, beach episode filler bullshit that no one cares about.
No, it is a superhero adventure starring the cast of School Days, where they fight aliens. Okay, that is a stop I made on my journey to find word of the author. And then, eventually, I did find an interview that someone translated with the creator of the games, who was also the executive producer of the anime, Mathers Numakichi, who I mentioned before. And okay, I have some of his answers to some of his questions here. And while the word of the author is not binding, I think it's interesting. I also want to read out some of the questions here, but I'm going to start with this first. He was asked in the interview if School Days, what inspired School Days, what the idea behind it was. And like, apparently the general idea was to have a fully animated visual novel, which wasn't a thing at the time, which is why it was easy to turn it into anime, because it was already fully animated, basically. Also, he wanted to create a story reminiscent of Fargo.
Fargo? So
Fargo is a movie by the Coen brothers. They also did Big Lebowski and the True Grit reboot. They do these dark comedies. And he says he wanted to go for a similar crazy story with dark comedy feel for the School Days games. And he was specifically inspired by Fargo and wanted to do something Fargo adjacent. So if you don't know Fargo, Fargo is like a gangster thriller with like absurdist elements. It's kind of a comedy in how fucking wild everything gets in the progress of the story. I'm not going to summarize the whole movie at this point. It's kind of bad shit. But I'm going to have to watch it with the knowledge of what School Days is.
This is what created School Days.
Yeah, this is like the talented Mr. Ripley to The Room, right? Like we found the weird origin story movie here somehow. And also, School Days isn't a dark comedy. Like, okay, there's a discussion to be had about what dark comedy is. Like, I would consider Edgar Wright films dark comedies, because they like combine like the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy.
Yeah, that stuff.
Where you have like, you know, parts that are clearly comedic in how dark they are, but also like dark parts that are meant to be taken as dark parts. Like there's parts of Shaun of the Dead that I can't watch because they're too fucking rough. Like the scene where he has to shoot his mom. That's a fucking dark scene, but it still works as a comedy. School Days, it has dark parts and it has comedy parts, but the comedy parts aren't dark.
What I assumed School Days is it was supposed to be like a generally serious thing, but they also wanted to have lighter parts in it, and that's completely failed. It created a total mismatch.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not that far off then.
But also, like, I had to think of The Room again, because I was already on my mind with The Room, and how, like, the DVD cover of The Room calls it a dark comedy now. And that makes me think, like, okay, but was it supposed to be a dark comedy? Or is that something you say now? Now that people have said that, you know... I have not played the games. And this interview was mainly about the games. I just thought that was really interesting. That apparently it was supposed to be dark in a way. Probably not in this way. Who knows? That's where our interpretation comes in, right?
Yeah.
I also wanted to read out 3 other questions from this interview.
Okay.
The first one, why did you make Makoto such a bastard?
I guess someone understands us.
Yeah. The answer is, if a boy suddenly becomes popular with the girls, it's normal for him not to react properly to the situation at first. He's likely to be unsure of himself, but put on a tough guy act, or behave in a perverted or selfish way. Also remember that the player is guiding him in that direction as part of the game, so it's not entirely his fault.
Yes, but this is the anime.
Yeah, this was about the game, the interview specifically.
Okay, yeah.
But also, like, this brings me back to my overarching theory that the decisions of Makoto can be explained this way.
Wait a minute. I actually have something pretty big that I found that I'm gonna mention later, and that kind of throws a wrench in this.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll get to
we'll
that.
see.
We'll get to that. Also, just two of the other questions that I really wanted to talk about really quickly, because these are hentai games, right? Like, these are sex games. These are
they?
Yeah, they're softcore, but they're hentai games. One of the questions in the interview was, "What is your favorite fetish?"
What?
By the way, if you wanted to know, it's pregnancy kink.
Okay. Why would that be one of the questions in the interview?
Because it's about perverted games, alright? Last question, and this one was important to us. Finally, please give a message to your international fans. Which, that's us, right?
Choose your next words wisely.
Thank you very much for purchasing this game, in our case, this anime. We did purchase it.
I did pay $40 for the Blu-ray.
And supporting our company. It makes me very happy to know that fans all around the world are enjoying Shiny Days and, by extension, School Days. I'm also thankful to blah 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 for helping with this project, blah 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 blah. I hope to make interesting products for you again very soon. I just wanted to, we're the international fans. I just wanted to, us and all the other international fans, to get this message out.
There's quite the fandom around
these
games.
There is. There's a lot of.
I don't know.
A lot of fandom.
I don't know what they think of us if they know that we exist.
I don't think they know that we exist.
If they did, we'd know.
If they do, comment on the YouTube upload if that's what you're listening to, or go to Twitter at authorkill, where our podcast is, and hit us up, at us. We want to talk with a wider fan base, right?
Anyway, speaking of softcore porn.
Yes.
This is just straight up said without much context.
Yeah.
There's a scene in this whole dumb segment here where just all the maid girls are just all standing there in a row, and then the whole audience just says softcore porn.
No. At first, they all pull up stockings.
Yeah,
they all put on stockings, and then he says, softcore porn.
At least that's what the subtitles say. They say, I don't know.
I didn't look at the other subtitles for that one. But I think the stockings are where, like, it wasn't softcore porn up until now, but now that there's stockings involved. I see what's going on here.
This is like that 19th century ankle meme.
I also wrote down after the thing about the stockings, none of this means anything, dumbass anime bullshit.
Yeah. One more thing about this segment. Banana.
Yeah.
Banana.
People slip on banana peel.
Yeah, I think it specifically says now it's someone else in one of those costumes.
Slip
slips
on
the
banana peel.
And then it's just a shot of like Makoto and Taisuke just saying banana in a way.
Banana!
Yeah, just like this. And I have to comment this because this is the only part where I actually laughed with the anime.
I did too, but because I was reminded of Nanaba.
What is that?
It's Houseu.
Oh, yeah,
that scene where someone transforms into bananas. I had to think of that one.
Right.
We're gonna have to do Houseu at some point.
Yeah.
Houseu is one where we could
that is
like
wild.
do artful analysis of every 5 minutes, easy.
Yes. I just had to mention this because I actually thought that was funny. Just the way they said banana.
It gets one. It gets one laugh.
It gets the one.
We can skip to after the battle, right? So after the battle,
like all of their costumes are screwed.
Yeah,
they're all messed up, and like Setsuna goes over there to start fixing them, I guess.
Okay.
And then Makoto says, it doesn't look like Setsuna needs anyone to lean on. She like has some kind of reaction to it. Looks like she's upset.
Maybe. She's reacting to it, for sure.
We'll get back to that.
And it's also open to interpretation if he just says that so he doesn't have to help.
Yeah.
That seems like him.
She does help. He does help, though.
Yeah, he does help. After, like, I think Sekai tells all of them that they should also help. Or something like that.
Well, after the affair, Sekai tells them that she has work and she can't help them any further.
Yeah, but before that, there's this one line, but yeah.
Then Setsuna leaves, I guess, to go fix the costumes. She's looking, I guess, more upset than usual. And then, like, Sekai says to Makoto, I'll let you take care of Setsuna, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, like, Makoto, like, specifically comments on her self-reliance before that.
Yeah.
And, like, also, like, oh, God. That reminds me that I wrote a fucking 5,000-word essay on self-reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson and how it impacted the American spirit to this day. And now I'm sitting here doing a fucking school day's watch through it, commenting everything. So what I'm trying to say is I'm finally doing something useful with my literary degree now.
I guess Sakai noticed that Setsuna was more upset than normal, and I guess she noticed that Makoto noticed.
Yeah, I guess.
And like maybe she thinks if she doesn't allow him to like help another girl, he's Makoto, who knows what's gonna happen. She can't trust him. And Makoto says that they are gonna have to go and get more supplies.
I wrote down Makoto demonstrates how not to talk to small people. Because she's standing there doing something and he's like going down onto his knees to talk to Setsuna. Like,
yeah.
How not to talk to small people.
Yeah, this is coming back.
Yeah.
She's small. So next we're at night, or at least later, it's dark. And we see Makoto pulling a wagon like he was a horse.
Yeah.
Like a wagon filled with supplies for the festival, I guess, because they're out of stuff at school.
And they couldn't, like, ask someone to drive them.
So I guess they went somewhere and now he's carrying, like, a horse wagon.
Yeah.
Like a wooden horse wagon.
Yeah, and she's pushing it
from the back. Which is, I guess, the best they can come up with.
Apparently. Mm-hmm. And also, this is where Setsuna tells Makoto something.
So Setsuna tells Makoto that she is moving.
Yeah. To France.
She's meant because her mom is being relocated. Mom drop.
Also, I looked at the other subtitles because, like, what the fuck do you mean by relocated?
Yeah, I thought, like, her mom got a job in France. That's what I thought that meant.
The other subtitles are they say she's transferring jobs.
Yeah,
that's apparently
that makes
what
more
it is.
Sense.
I was just thinking relocated, like, is she being thrown out of the country? Did her visa expire? What the fuck?
I thought that for a moment. And yes, mom drop. There's another mom mentioned by name.
Yeah, so she's not just like moving to France on her own.
We thought about this in the last episode.
Yeah.
She has a mom.
This is, by the way, really the Setsuna episode.
But I guess she's still on her phone, like, organizing everything. Her mom isn't.
I mean, maybe she was talking to her mom as she was
in
doing
French.
That. Maybe
they need to practice.
Maybe her mom is originally French and is now going back there to, I don't know, work for fucking Ubisoft. I don't know, a lot of things that happen in France. To sell bread at a boulangerie, maybe.
And then she sort of like directly reveals what her motivation is here.
Yeah. About the whole trying to get Makoto and Sekai together thingy.
Yeah. She basically says that whenever Sekai is upset by something, like whenever she's bothered, she just locks herself into her room and cries.
Yeah.
Like when she didn't go to school that day. And, like, usually she's there for her. To be of emotional support. And this is why she wants Makoto to be with her. So that he can give her support instead.
I don't know if you remember last time that I brought up the Sekai depression theory.
Yeah.
That Sekai, like, actually has mental problems and that Setsuna is sort of, like, getting to that. And I think this kind of confirms it. Because, like, the way Setsuna describes it, every time something slightly upsetting happens, Sekai locks herself in a room for days and cries. Like, that's definitely a depressive behavior. That definitely sounds like depression.
So now the question that we have to ask is, of course, why does she entrust Makoto with this?
And a different question, just really quickly, before we get to that, is phone. Phones exist. You can talk to people in France with a phone. You know this theme that we've discovered in this anime from the start, the theme where people can talk in their rooms on their phones, and that's where they have their open, revealing emotional moments to each other, where they can drop the masks and be open with each other when they're wearing casual clothes and sitting in their room. The phone, apparently, it didn't mean as much as I thought it did. Because apparently this would be a great point. With phones being the symbol of emotional vulnerability, obviously, apparently she can't talk to her on the phone and have it be the same. Apparently phones can't be there for emotional vulnerability in the situations. Apparently, I've been wasting my time. Apparently my theories are wrong. Apparently I'm not right about that. Okay. Let's get back to Makoto.
We get a flashback here.
Yeah.
That I guess explains to a degree why Setsuna believes that Makoto will be able to give support to Sakai. Because when she was younger, she was being bullied by some people, so she was crying, she was miserable. And then Makoto showed up to be like, are you okay? What's going on?
Yeah, stop crying.
Yeah, are these people bullying you? I can show him what's going on. And then she was like, I don't need your help. And then, like, if Makoto was like...
And also Makoto told her that she's so strong she could be class president. That's also something.
Yeah, that too. Which inspired her to become class president.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Probably.
But he's also like, oh, okay, you can take care of yourself. I see that. You're strong enough for this.
Yeah.
And I guess she took this as Makoto helped her with emotional support.
Yeah.
But, like, to me it feels like he kind of says this as well. He didn't really help her.
Yeah.
He mostly reminded her that she has... like the emotional strength to handle herself.
And also, like, as he mentions in that scene, I also wrote down something about that. As he mentioned in that scene, the people who were bullying her were people he was in a class with previously, who were bullies there already. So he was just kind of warning her about the bullies he knew about.
All right. It's time for my thing.
All right.
Those two bullies. I mentioned before how if I go on the wiki, I tend to go off the rails and read something that I could not believe. I went deep this time.
All right.
I looked up the names of the bullies, which is Matsudaira and Tuyama. Mm-hmm. I had problems figuring stuff out about Tuyama because the subtitles spelled his name wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled with 2 O's, it's 1 O. It's not Tuyama, it's Toyama.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, who were picking on her when she was small. So these guys are...
She's still small.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, we just mentioned this. She's small.
They were picking on her because she was small.
So the two of them, they're not relevant for school days really at all. They are more relevant for cross days.
All right.
All right.
So cross days, like I know that there's summer days, which is like a sort of alternative universe where they met earlier and had like summer romance or something, like not at school. There's also shiny days. I don't know what that's about. What's cross day about?
Let's talk about cross days. Okay, so the main character of cross days is a guy named Yuki, who who also works at... He exists in the same universe and apparently around the same time as well.
Okay, so it's like in the same setting but different character.
It's with a few different characters. Okay. He's like a librarian for the school there. But he is a teenager. He's as old as everyone else is. But he's like a librarian in the school library. And at first, he kind of develops a crush on Kotonoha, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
She has very huge knockers, yes.
Yeah, but then, first of all, he has a girlfriend. So that's a reason why he's hesitant. I think they break up. And
that's also a visual novel, though, right? Like, is that also a dating sim?
That is a visual novel that I'm describing.
Okay.
And like, I think they broke up, but in some of the good endings, they get back together.
All right.
And he's also hesitant because Kotonoha has a boyfriend, Makoto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're relevant for this triangle.
So this takes place in the Makoto and Kotonoha are together timeline.
Yeah, and Sakai is also part of this. She's also part of the plot here.
Okay.
Okay, so then he I guess confronts Makoto because he figures out pretty quickly he's cheating on Kotonoha with Sakai.
Okay.
Yeah, he figures that out. And then he like confronts Makoto about it. And at some point, Makoto actually tells him, and I'm not shitting you, he says that he actually doesn't care about Kotonoha or Sakai, he just liked the sex with them. And that if a hotter girl shows up, he would go for her instead. He said, I'm not making this shit up, it says this on the wiki.
Oh my god.
That's what I meant, this kind of throws the wrench in the Makoto's just an insecure teenager thing. He just admits he's an asshole.
Also, like, the fact that he dates both of them, like, that can happen in the game, I'm sure. But also that implies that the universe this Yuki guy, or whatever his name is interacting with, might be the anime universe.
It might, maybe, okay, have we considered that maybe there's a canonic way for a school-based visual novel to go, and that's the one in the anime?
From what I know,
that would make sense.
The time that interview that I had took place was after the anime came out, after Shiny Days came out. Summer Days was also already out. Cross Days was not yet out. So Cross Days probably came out after the anime. So it could have been inspired by the anime.
Okay. So I have to keep going.
Okay.
Because what he does afterwards is he takes him by his word, as he develops an alter ego where he dresses up as a girl named Yu, and he attempts to seduce Makoto to show to Kotonoha and Sekai that he's a dick.
So that's why Cross Days.
Yeah, because he's cross-dressing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What happens?
So apparently there's, I think, like 2 or 3 good endings, like 6 bad endings, and an ending that's classified as neither good nor bad on the anime.
Alright.
So one of the bad endings here involves the bullies that I mentioned. There's it's like a super fucked up ending.
Alright.
Where apparently, like, he's advanced on by the 2 bullies in a bathroom, and then they end up abusing him, and then, like, he's literally fucking kidnapped, and they keep him as a sex slave, and that's one of the bad endings.
Dark comedy.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
Dark comedy.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Oh yeah, also Taisuke. He's also one of the bullies who does this. In that ending, I forgot to mention.
Oh my god! Like,
Not surprised.
Taisuke sucks, but he
doesn't suck that much.
I mean, we have next episode.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
Yeah. And I shit you not. The ending that's neither classified as good or bad results from the same path.
Okay.
And I had to look that up again but just before we started recording to make sure this is actually what happens. There's an ending where instead, Yuki can write an emergency SOS to Makoto. To save him. And then he shows up and he does. So at this point, I guess his fake persona is dating Makoto. And this is the Makoto ending, where they actually end up in a relationship together.
Okay.
Yuki and Makoto, after he reveals to him that he's a boy. I'm not fucking shitting you. There's a gay ending.
There's the Makoto is bi ending?
There's the Makoto is bi ending.
Oh my god.
That's fucking real.
Oh my god. Now we gotta look into Summer Days and Shiny Days, I think.
I was wondering, where's the Cross Days anime? I want the Cross Days anime with that ending.
I want the ending where they get together. I want the ultimate ship ending where Kotonoha and Sekai find better stuff.
Okay.
Where really, that's the best ending you can think of. The one where no woman ends up with Makoto. I think that's the best ending we can get for Makoto.
It's the ending where we find out that Makoto was never happy with any of the girls because he was gay.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's the ending where we find out that the only way for Makoto to overcome his toxic masculinity is to end up with a man. Maybe that's what it's coming down to in the end.
I can't believe that this is real.
Oh my god. Alright, how are we gonna get back from this to the plot of the episode?
That's what I was thinking. You see, I didn't write much more after this.
I mean, I don't have much more either. I mean, okay, I have things in there that need to be mentioned. Let's just really quickly move through the end of this episode, because it is important.
Yeah, there's only one last scene after the school fair.
Yeah.
I remember this being a much bigger deal than it felt like, but I did just have that revelation.
Yeah.
So all of the equipment is fixed now. Everything's set up again. Makoto is sitting around somewhere asleep. And hey, how about you go on?
I mean, we see Kotonoha also cleaning up for the horror cafe for a really quick scene in the form of an ass shot. I just wrote that down. We see an ass shot of her, and then she moves out. I
didn't even register that.
Yeah, we see her ass, and then she moves out of a curtain.
I've been desensitized. I didn't even notice.
So then, okay, Setsuna is in there with a sleeping Makoto.
Yes.
And then Setsuna says, this is a memory just for her, as she leans over Makoto, and then she sexually assaults him.
When I initially watched this show, this part just made me so mad.
Yeah. We have this one prominent female character with purely platonic, as far as we know, purely platonic motivations towards helping Sekai. And then she fucking kisses Makoto too. Also while he's asleep, so...
Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah, that's not great. Also, Dobby is watching. Kotonoha is standing outside the room and is looking into it.
Then she's walking in, she sees what's going on here.
And then fade to credits.
Yeah.
Dramatic fade.
The credits image on the phone, I have no notes about. I don't care.
I also don't. Absolutely.
I didn't care anymore.
I don't care at all.
It's just photos. Who cares?
Yeah, so this establishes a theme we'll see develop throughout the rest of the anime, which is it's not just Sekai and Kotonoha. All the female characters want a bit of Makoto.
We're going downhill from here.
We're like from this point onwards, it's the last third of the anime, and like it's just downhill from here. It's just like things turn bad, but like beyond the setting bad.
Yeah.
It kind of like next episode is still going to be the school festival, but after the school festival we completely lose the fucking plot.
And in the school festival already.
During the school festival already, but after the school festival, like it's not even a school anime anymore. After the school festival, it's not school days anymore. It's just bad days.
Yeah, bad days. We're at the point where shit starts happening.
Yeah.
Finally.
The less than shiny days, you could say.
What's the opposite of shiny?
I don't know. Blemished?
There's an actual...
Grimy?
The mad days.
The mad days. It's the mad days from this point onwards. Okay. Wow. Cross days, huh?
Yeah.
Also, we're going to have to, for completion's sake, we're going to have to watch the OVAs. And that's going to be interesting, because we're going to see them, like, for the first time, right?
Yeah.
There's a new piece of school days paraphernalia that we can enjoy.
Can we, like, riff them? And then upload that on YouTube?
We could do that.
Like the live reaction?
We could do that. I mean, I'm putting these episodes on my channel anyways. That might be fun.
I don't know how we're gonna do this without getting a copyright claim.
I mean, we can basically say at this point we press play and then people can watch along on their own stream. Or we can do it on Twitch. Everything is legal on Twitch, right?
Sure.
I don't know. There's too much happened this episode. Man, I did not expect that the second half episode 8, like not even last time we recorded, I did not expect that this would be the big reveals, super interesting shit episode. I did not expect that it would happen here, but it had to happen at some point, and what better point than a school festival for things to go off the walls.
Yes.
We're gonna hear from each other again in 2 weeks when the next episode drops. It's going to be the first half of episode 9, which I think is just more a school festival.
I don't remember. It's been too long.
I think the next episode is still like all out school festival, but I'm not sure. There's still a few plot points that have to happen, all of them related to sex. And we'll get to those when we get to those. But until then...
Oh no, I just remembered what happens in the next one.
Oh yeah,
A bunch of things. Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Specifically in the first half, I think.
Oh,
no.
I think the things I'm thinking about are in the second half, so we both have a lot to look forward to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Until we get to that, though, bye-bye. See you again next time.
Bye-bye.